Today I'll be going over John 5, 1 through 15, if you guys would like to flip to that. We're going to be going over Jesus and the paralytic through this time. So before AIM, I was lost. I was in such a dire state that I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was in the state where I was dealing with family issues, friend issues. I had friends and family who dealt with drug addictions and all that kind of sorts of stuff. And I just didn't feel a connection with God at that moment. And then around a year later in August, out of nowhere, it was like God took a fishing rod and reeled me back in. He just pulled me in and brought me the message of coming back to him and seeing that his time means everything, that everything he does has a purpose. Everything he does has a reason and a timely basis and manner. Well, in John 5, Jesus meets a man who has been waiting 38 long years beside the pool of Bethesda and waiting for his chance to be healed. Can you imagine that kind of waiting? Can you imagine year after year how you've been just begging and praying to get healed or something of that sort? Well, to me, this pool represents human timing, waiting for a right moment, for the right opportunity, and especially for the right person to help. But in this story, Jesus shows something more powerful. He is not bound by time, but he rules over it. While we are often anxious about when things will happen, Jesus reminds us that he is not controlled by the clock. He doesn't need the right conditions to work, but he is those conditions. He is this condition in general. We'll be going over 3 points through this lesson. Number 1 is Jesus steps into our waiting. 2 is Jesus works beyond human timing. And 3 is Jesus redefines time itself. So we're going to go through number 1, which is Jesus steps into our waiting, which is going to be verses 1 through 6. For nearly 4 decades, this man has been stuck in a cycle of disappointment and delay. Every time he thought he had a chance to be healed, someone else got in the water before him. He has grown used to waiting, to be overlooked, to believe that his time has never come or will never come. Have you felt that before? That you just feel like you won't be able to do anything or that you won't be able to do this specific thing? He's felt this. But Jesus, full of compassion, sees this man before even the man sees Jesus. And Jesus already noticed him. He asked this piercing question: do you want to be healed? At first, that seems like an odd question to us and anyone else that's not hurt or sick. But to this man specifically, he wants to. It's piercing into his heart, and not just into his heart, into his mind. But he's really wanting a change. This man wants this. He's not just saying, yes, I'll take it. I need this help. He's begging. He's crawling over to Jesus and saying, yes, I want to be healed. If you want to turn in Galatians 4 through 5, it's going to be Galatians 4 through 5. It says, but when the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his Son. God's timing is always perfect. He's never early, never late, but always right on time. When Jesus steps into your waiting, it's not accidental. It's intentional. Delay doesn't mean denial. This man was waiting by the water to move towards it. But what he really needed was the word to speak to him and through him. A big thing I saw throughout this first section was delay doesn't mean denial. Jesus steps into your timeline right on time. So let's move to number 2, which is Jesus works beyond human timing, which is going to be verses 7 through 9. When Jesus tells the man to rise, to take up his mat and walk, the man begins to explain that he can't. He's just not able to, and he's struggling through this matter. Sir, I have no one to put me into this pool when the water is stirred up, and when I'm going, another steps before me. He focuses on what hasn't worked, on his limitations of human timing and opportunity. But Jesus doesn't need the pool. He doesn't need a process. His word alone carries authority over time, sickness, circumstance, and even this pool itself. And he says, get up and take your mat and walk. And instantly, not gradually, not eventually, but immediately, he is healed. No waiting, no delay, and no right moment. He follows the word of the Lord. So if you want to turn for another one, 2 Peter 3, 8 through 9. It's going to be 2 Peter 3, 8 through 9, which says, with the Lord, 1 day is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as 1 day. To God, time doesn't restrict him. He moves above it. What feels like forever to us is but a moment to him. Maybe you've been waiting for something to change, heal, reconcile, breakthrough, or a change in direction, and you've been praying for it and begging for it all your life, or even just for a few hours. Jesus doesn't have to wait for the perfect set of circumstances. He creates the perfect moment with his command. He will come when you need it the most, not just when you want it. A big thing I saw through this one was Jesus doesn't wait for the perfect moment. He creates it. And then lastly, we're going to go to the final point, which is Jesus redefines time itself. And that's going to be verses 10 through 15. Well, now, this healing, it takes place on the Sabbath, which, if everybody would know, no one is supposed to work on the Sabbath. To the religious leaders, this was unacceptable. But Jesus deliberately chooses this moment. He chooses this time and day to make this statement that he is Lord of the Sabbath. He is over the Sabbath, and he doesn't listen to that. The Sabbath was created for rest, a reflection of God's rhythm in creation. But Jesus is revealing something deeper. He's showing that he himself is the true source of true rest. He's not bound by the rules of time. He is the one that gives meaning to time. Later, Jesus also finds this man again and says, see, you are well again. Stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you. Jesus doesn't just heal this man's body. He heals his timeline, his past of pain, his present restoration, and his future purpose. He's able to finally do something with his life, be able to move on. Last verse, if you would want to turn to it, is Colossians 1, 16 through 17. It's going to be Colossians 1, 16 through 17. And as Andrew read, it was, all things together were created through him and for him. And in him, all things hold together. That includes time itself. Jesus doesn't just live in time. Time exists because of him. And a big thing I saw from this one is Jesus restores your time so you can live for him. And then finally, in this story, we see the full picture of Jesus' authority over time. He steps into our waiting And he meets us in the seasons that feel wasted or forgotten. He works beyond human timing, and what seems impossible or delayed is effortless to him. He redefines and redeems time itself. He turns our wasted years into testimonies of grace. Maybe you've been waiting for something, a long time for it especially, for healing, for breakthrough, for restoration, and just been dying for it, and praying and begging. But be encouraged. Jesus doesn't just work in time, but time works in Jesus and for Jesus. When he steps into your story, every moment, even the waiting, becomes a part of his divine plan.
So, you know those conversations in kindergarten where you're like, my dad's better than your dad? So you guys get to hear me talk about my father, and you're forced to listen, and I'm going to brag about him, okay? So we see Jesus had just entered Jerusalem at the time of the festival. So what that means is Jerusalem is alive, city's full of music, celebration, temples overflowing with people praising and giving thanks. It's the place that everyone wanted to be. Everyone wanted to feel holy, be seen, be part of this wonderful celebration, right? But Jesus, he isn't in the temple. He isn't caught up in the crowds, the excitement, or the applause. He's down at Bethsaida by this pool where the lame, the sick, the blind, the forgotten, and the overlooked have gathered, waiting for this pool to be stirred. You see, while the city's celebrating the visible, the impressive, this sacred pageantry, Jesus is spending his time with the broken. It's here that he sees a man paralyzed for 38 years. Just a show of hands, how many of you are under the age of 38? It's a pretty big number, huh? Imagine that. 38 years of waking up every day feeling the same. 38 years of watching life happen and pass by while he stayed stuck. 38 years staring at this pool, hoping, praying that someday, somehow he might make it to this pool first and be healed when the water stirred. Think about that, 38 years. In that time, he probably blamed everyone and everything else, the pool, people in his way, his own circumstances. Sound a little familiar? We long for something we think will fix everything. Meanwhile, Jesus is standing right in front of us. We look at the all-knowing, all-loving, all-powerful Creator, and we tell him, if I just have this one thing, everything will be all right. If you can just grant me this one thing, my life will finally be complete. And like this man, Jesus sometimes grants us that one thing. But all too often, we walk away from Jesus and go our own path. Jesus meets us where we are, and after asking and receiving, we turn our back and walk away. Look at verse 13 in John 5. The man who had been healed did not know who it was. Isn't that crazy? He didn't even know the name of the man who healed him. 38 years of waiting for something like that to happen, and you don't even remember the name of the person who granted that? That's us sometimes. He blesses us, rescues us, provides for us, and then we forget who it was. We move to the next thing we think will finally fill us up. You see, Jesus grants us these things not to satisfy us, but to show us that they never will. He's trying to show us that all we need is him. We often end up finding something new to chase, something new to hope for, that we think might finally fill us up. And when that new thing doesn't fill us, we turn inward. We start thinking, maybe I'm the problem. I just need to try a little harder. We put the weight of our healing, our freedom, our peace on ourselves. That's where the false hope of self begins. I want to share something, but I'm not sure if I should. Okay. Do you ever feel like this hope for something is controlling you? Like, what are you going to do? I'm going to set myself free. No, you won't. You will not overcome it. You will never overcome it. There's no answer within yourself. Your own marriage, your own goodness, your own discipline, and your own devotion will not save you, and it will not give you peace. There's only one, and he's the one that took your place and died on that cross. Because the truth is, the man tried for 38 years to set him free. I mean, he had the will, he had the desire, but he didn't have the power. Every time the water stirred, he tried, but time and time again, he failed. That's what life looks like when you try to save yourself. Endless striving, constant disappointment, lack of healing. See, Jesus walks up to him and he doesn't say, try harder. He doesn't say, if you believe enough, the water will work. He simply says, get up, pick up your mat and walk. Because when Jesus speaks, he gives what he commands. He doesn't tell the man to walk. He gives him the strength to do it. That's the difference between religion and relationship. Religion says, fix yourself, do better, try harder. Jesus says, I'll lift you, I'll heal you, I'll restore you, I'll make you whole. We've all been that man by the pool trying to fix what's broken in our own strength. We think that if we change enough, work enough, maybe pray enough, it'll work. But Jesus doesn't come so we could struggle harder. He came so we could rest in his finished work. You see, the false hope of self ends the same way every time: exhaustion and emptiness. But the hope of Jesus ends at the cross where he said, it is finished. You know, that reminds me a little something of what my life looked like before Jesus. Growing up, I kept chasing something that would finally make me feel like I'm enough. It really started one night when my mom was telling me things that made me feel good. They encouraged me. But my stepdad walks in the room and immediately he says, don't tell him what he's not. And I wasn't mad at him. I was mad at my mom because in that moment I thought, nobody thinks of me like this. If I could earn his approval, my stepdad's, I can have the right to earn anyone else's. So at that point, I mean, that's what led me to chase a Navy SEAL contract before AIM. I worked hard for it. I gave everything, and I got it. But, I mean, I finally walked, but even then I wasn't fulfilled. And it hit me, if I can't find peace here after achieving this, then I'll never find it anywhere. And that's when Jesus found me. And if it took all of that, the hurt, the striving, the disappointment, those words, for me to get to know him, I'd do it 100 times over. See, that's the moment we realize it's not about me trying harder, it's about me trusting deeper. You don't have to keep crawling towards the pool anymore. The healer has already come to you. He's saying, get up, walk, and be free. Not because you can, but because he already did. We have a tendency and a problem when we begin to know Jesus for who he is and what he did. We begin to tell ourselves, I deserve this. I deserve the guilt. I deserve the shame. I deserve the consequence. I deserve it all. But Jesus seems to look at us and says, no, son, let me have it. Let me have your guilt. Let me have your shame. No, God, this is what I deserve. I deserve the poverty, the sickness. I deserve it all. God, I'm so ashamed. Give me your shame. But what if I do it again? I'll still love you. We can pretend that some people are better than others, and that's why they're blessed, or we can all come to the honest conclusion that it's God and God alone. Your greatest challenge isn't your discipline, your devotion, your focus. Your greatest challenge is believing the gospel. Could it be that there's a God with a love so scandalous, so wide, so deep, so vast, so high, so expansive, so inclusive, so welcoming, so perfect, that he says, let me have your shame, your sickness, your poverty, your insecurities. Let me have it all. And when I give it all to him, I stand now in this empty space of love and forgiveness, or I can walk away from him just as the paralytic did and go back to doing it all over again. Where do we get off thinking that we were ever going to set ourselves free? It's still Jesus. It will always be Jesus. It'll never stop being the power of Jesus. Jesus is the answer when you're lost. He's the healing when you're broken, the strength when you're weak, the hope when you've given up. He's not just enough. He's more than enough. It's not about me. It's not what I can do. It's not about my effort or my worthiness. It's about Jesus. He's enough. He always has been and he always will be.